interesting, these days after Christmas, what we have in the scriptures today is like a direction from God. Good morning. A direction on how to live. We'll start with the gospel and then bring in the reading from John. It's interesting. It's a little chauvinistic because he's talking to the men, the boys, the men, little boys, but all males. And I think we want to just hear that as a cultural thing for that period, but universalize it as if John is writing to all of us, men, women, children, girls, boys, etc. So Anna is in the temple when Simeon takes the child Jesus and declares to Mary that this child will be the rise and fall of many, and your heart, Mary, will be pierced with a sword. And we know that piercing comes a few times in the life of Jesus, when they lose Jesus, when they're escaping with Jesus, and when he's carrying the cross, a few very, very significant moments. But I think every parent has those experiences that their hearts are being torn when their kid falls, when the kid cries, when the kid gets in trouble at school. Of course, Simko and Mishka are exempt from that. They never get in trouble at school. So God is talking to John today to all of us. But let's go to the gospel first. It's important that we appreciate who Anna is. She's a woman who's dedicated her life to almost being a hermitess. She goes to the temple and stays there, lives there. I don't know where and how she ate. I don't know those details. Or, I'm a very practical person, I wonder where she went to the bathroom. I guess the temple had his and her bathroom as well. So she lived there, though, praying. And she was praying for the deliverance of Jerusalem. Now, I think she was praying for the deliverance of Jerusalem from Rome, because they were occupying Jerusalem at that point. But the reality is that the deliverance came to her, and it was in Jesus. And she realized, this is the one. This is the one who will deliver us from terror, heartache, war. This is the potential savior of the world. And she gives thanks to God because of this child as she was waiting for the redemption of Jerusalem. Now, that's all she is. She comes on the scene and she leaves, and we hear nothing else about Anna. But she represents people who are waiting for the Messiah. She's not a solo character. She comes to the surface and stars today in this section of Luke's gospel. But she represents the people of Israel, which is important. We're the people of Israel today, the new Israel. We're the people who wait for the return of the Savior, Jesus. And that's why we're here. That's why we gather for Mass, to once again remember why we're here. We're here on earth as a destiny, as a direction, as a way, as a preparation journey. Well, we look at John's Gospel, and he tells us how to prepare. Prepare by acknowledging what we know about God. Prepare by fighting the evil one. Prepare by knowing children, knowing their fathers, and fathers knowing their children, mothers knowing their children, children knowing their mothers, and the law of God, the law of love. And we know it's not easy, and John's letter makes it very clear, it's not easy because the world is always pulling us away. We could even use Christmas as a good example of that. The more important secular aspects of Christmas are, and I have nothing against Santa and the reindeer and lights, but the secular aspect of Christmas celebrates that. And as soon as December 24th/25th, leave, it's all over. Okay, now let's get back to industry. Let's get back to materialism again, more materialism, and a half-price sale as well. We as Christians begin on the 24th and 25th to celebrate the coming of the Messiah. This period is called the Octave, the 8 days, until Jesus is eventually brought into the temple and circumcised. So that has to come from you, the adults, and being passed on to their children. You know the right way. The world doesn't care what you know. The world does not care about your faith. We, who carry the faith, have to be the ones who pass it on, not only to our children, but to each other, through our actions and our relationship with one another. John says it very clearly, if anyone loves the world, and I would say all aspects of the world, not the world in its beauty, but the world, because when John uses the world, he represents as the devil. So when people love the world and the devil and all his works and promises, it's up to us to fight that and bring more of Christ, the light of the world, into our lives and into each other's lives. We do it best by beginning it with ourselves. Rather than point to others and how they can change the world, it's important to point to ourselves, because John is talking to each one of us. Anna represented us in the temple. So our salvation is very important. Salvation means healing, besides being saved by God at the end of time. But very important that we heal ourselves and heal one another. Forgive, love, and are charitable to each other. During the Christmas season, yes, more so, but every day. When December 24th and 25th are closed, when the Christmas cards are put away, when the decorations are removed, the mission of Christ in us still goes on, because we represent his light to the world.